lights are lighting up. And it's underway. The lights were on for a really long time there. And we can see lots of variable starts there from everyone else on the grid. And we're going to try and make a move. We're right behind Max Verstappen. And there's been an incident in the first corner and our teammate has spun out there. Yellow flags, literally everyone coming to a stop. And a virtual safety car has come out. And now we've got Lewis Hamilton. He's going to try and retake the lead of the race from Kimi Raikkonen going into the first corner. And easy as you like. And our tyres were really starting to go off at this point. Max Verstappen able to keep his tyres going a little bit longer, but he locked up his front left wheel going into that corner. Able to take the position from us, but done his tyres no good. And up ahead, that's Carlos Sainz, who's had yet another engine blowout this series. And basically, generally, is just the Ferrari engine that is extremely unreliable in this game. I'm a few seconds ahead of Bottas, a few seconds ahead of Alonso, but Alonso setting the fastest lap. I couldn't catch up to Bottas and Alonso couldn't catch up to me. So it was an extremely boring end to the race. We're watching the man right now, Lewis Hamilton. He got off to an amazing start, qualified in 4th. You wouldn't have thought it after the first corner, as he's going to win the 2016 Russian Grand Prix. So well done to Lewis Hamilton. But anyway, coming around the last corner, beaten by our teammate, nearly beaten by McLaren, and we're going to come across the line in 9th place.
This is Formula One.
Right then guys, so here we are on the laptop screen for part 5 in my F1 2016 Williams career mode. Now look at the left hand side. Haas, McLaren, ourselves and Ferrari have all bought upgrades. I've reduced the drag of the car, which should hopefully be quite useful for the Catalonia track. But look at the pecking order now. McLaren are now the 3rd best team. We're still ahead of Red Bull, but we're now the 4th best team again, because McLaren are 3rd. Ferrari are closer to Mercedes. It's just all gone mad, and Haas bought some upgrades. You wouldn't notice it looking at the pecking order. And then we're on to practice after McLaren are now suddenly the 3rd best team on the grid. Yeah, we just do the standard practice stuff, track acclimatization, for example. But honestly, who knows what happened really. McLaren, we've now got to watch out for them. They are now a force to be reckoned with. And anyway, we've got 500 resource points, so we could definitely think about getting another car upgrade, you know, at the end of this race weekend. But yeah, anyway, it's on to the qualifying report for the Spanish Grand Prix. Qualifying in the sunny Catalonia saw both Saubers line up at the back of the grid, led by Felipe Nasr. Just ahead of them are both Manners, led by Pascal Wehrlein. Finally, they're followed up by both Renaults, led by Jolyon Palmer, to make up the last of those eliminated in Q1. The next session saw both Force India and Haas drivers eliminated, with Perez in 16th and Hulkenberg 14th, whilst Gutierrez finished in 15th and Grosjean beat his Mexican teammate once again to finish in 13th. For the 3rd race in a row now, Max Verstappen failed to make it into Q3, qualifying 12th. And the reason he failed to make it into Q3 once again is because he failed to make it through on the harder compounder tyre. The final driver to be eliminated was Carlos Sainz, who lost out to his teammate by less than 1/10 of a second. After that, the 12-minute Q3 session progressed, and the top 10 line up like this. Daniel Kvyat and Valtteri Bottas share the 5th row, with an all-British 4th row just ahead, led by Valtteri Bottas' teammate. Alonso will line up directly ahead of his teammate in 6th place, showing just how far McLaren have come this season. Ricciardo lines up an impressive 5th, just behind Kimi Raikkonen in 4th and Nico Rosberg in 3rd. Sebastian Vettel once again just missed out on pole position as Lewis Hamilton starts from the top spot to try and take his 4th win in only 5 races so far this season. Right then, so here we are on the grid, on the race strategy screen, and as you can see, a 2-stop strategy for today's event. Softs, mediums, hards. Simple as you like really, using all 3 dry tyre compounds because it's not meant to rain at all. And on the grid with Fernando Alonso just ahead of me in 6th place. So McLaren genuinely are a force to be reckoned with. They genuinely are the third quickest team. I mean, Ricciardo qualified in 5th, but I think that's an anomaly. But no, Alonso out-qualifying me and Button out-qualifying Bottas means we really have got to watch out for them. So we'll just have to see how the race unfolds as the lights are lighting up for the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix, and it's underway, and it looks like me and Alonso have got off to a decent initial launch, catching up to Raikkonen and Ricciardo, and it looks like now we've got the drive on Alonso and Ricciardo, so we can move into 5th place going into the first corner. And going into the first corner, it's a Ferrari that's leading the field. We're going to try and go around the outside of Fernando Alonso. This will stick us up into 6th place. And what about going around the outside of that Ferrari? If we do that, we're up into 5th place and have gained 2 places off the start. So if we can get past Kimi Raikkonen, then we've got off to a brilliant start, and we have done exactly that. So now, we're in 5th. It's Vettel, Ricciardo, Hamilton and Rosberg the field now. So I don't know how Ricciardo also gained 2 places as well, especially as we were catching up to him. But he's got off to a pretty decent start, and so has Nico Rosberg, who's taken the lead off of his teammate, and in fact the Ferrari that was leading it briefly. So Rosberg got off to a pretty decent initial launch, held up by his teammate slightly, but it's Sebastian Vettel that's leading it going into the first corner, but I think he's just got too tight a line. Rosberg goes through the middle of his teammate and Vettel and is able to take the lead through that. Pretty impressive stuff. I'm amazed he didn't actually have a collision with either his teammate or Vettel, because it was so close. He was so close to doing that. And then we got Ricciardo, who obviously we saw was in 5th place and somehow has ended up in 3rd. So Raikkonen is alongside him, and he gets around the outside of Raikkonen, and then there's Vettel ahead, who just gets hung out to dry by Rosberg, who forces him out wide when he takes the lead, and Ricciardo just benefits from that, really, just getting the better drive compared to both Ferraris. So we're in 5th place. Vettel's pulled out by a bit of a way, but I'm not really expecting to beat the Ferraris on track pace. And as you can see, Kimi Raikkonen is now behind me, make that beside me, make that ahead of me. So we're down to 6th place, but realistically, Ferrari got the 2nd quickest car, we got the 4th. And unless some divine intervention comes into play, we're not going to finish ahead of those guys. And I don't really see Daniel Ricciardo finishing ahead of those guys, because it's an even tougher job for Ricciardo. A, because he's got a less powerful engine than we have in the Williams, and B, well, he's just generally got a worse car actually, according to the game anyway. But I mean, they're probably better in downforce sections, but either way, Vettel has taken 3rd off of his ex-teammate Ricciardo. So yeah, I mean, that's a top 3 I reckon won't be changing for a while, apart from the fact it will be, because Vettel and Ricciardo are coming into the pits. 2 of the earliest guys to come into the pits. I mean, we're sticking out, both Mercedes are. I believe one McLaren might have come in already. I mean, I know McLaren were coming in very early as well. Vettel's pitted from softs to medium, so seemingly doing the same strategy. There's a McLaren behind, so both McLarens, Vettel and Ricciardo, are going to try and get the undercut on everyone else, but that does mean they're going to have to do a longer next stint or final stint. We're coming into the pits on lap 5. Lap 5, that is really early to be stopping, but you know, that is just when the tyres went off. But we're coming in on the same lap as Kimi Raikkonen and a Mercedes as well, so we're not going to jump either of those guys in the pits unless they have a horrendous stop. And now there's the Mercedes, there's Raikkonen going on by, and now we're in 16th, 17th, 18th place. I mean, we've got Vettel in 19th. He will probably jump us, yes he will. What about Daniel Ricciardo? Yep, there goes Ricciardo. So we're in 20th place. We've been able to maintain we've been able to maintain track position ahead of Fernando Alonso. So that is one good thing. But 20th, it's almost like Australia all over again, where the front runners are at the back just because we've all had to pit so early and we got lots of the back markers staying out for a long time. We've got out ahead of Valtteri Bottas, who you will have seen exiting the pits there. Kimi Raikkonen still just not too far ahead of us at this point. Nico Rosberg, one of, if not the last guy who qualified in the top 10 to pit. So he's just doing the same thing, he's pitting onto the mediums. I don't see any drastically different strategies there. He came in at the same lap as Valtteri Bottas, So where does Nico Rosberg come out? Because we saw Bottas exit the pits, but we didn't see Rosberg. So he's behind both Renaults. There's the train that we're involved in, which has got both Manners and both Saubers in it, and he's come out ahead of it, I believe? No, ahead of all of them, bar one Manor. But regardless, Rosberg is ahead of most of that train. As you can see, Sebastian Vettel is behind both Saubers. So is Ricciardo, and so is Raikkonen, and so is ourselves. So basically, Rosberg, in terms of back markers to clear, he is way ahead of us. We've gone down the inside of Kimi Raikkonen going into the third and final sector. So we're in 16th place, but net 4th place, I believe, because it's net 5th, because it's Ricciardo, Hamilton and Vettel ahead of us. Ricciardo just moves out of the way for us, which is really nice of him. So we're up into 14th place, although he's actually going to hold it around our left-hand side. But no, we're now up behind Lewis Hamilton, up into 14th place. And there's yellow flags out. Yellow flags, and I believe I have something to do with that. Now, at the time of me driving, I had no idea what on earth caused that. But going on the replay, so Ricciardo was holding it to my left-hand side and just tried to make a move that wasn't really ever going to happen. I mean, Ricciardo, he's now spun around, he's caused chaos, but I don't see, I mean, yes, we closed the door on him, but I don't see how he was ever going to get back past at that corner anyway. Kvyat was really stupid, going into the back of my teammate, doing himself no good there. He's lost a part of his front wing, Kvyat has, so his race is now completely destroyed. But regardless, we're in 14th place, doing alright, because we're right up behind Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. We're going to dive it up the inside of both of those guys. And that seems to be our favourite overtaking spot. The second DRS straight, the back straight. And yeah, we're up into 12th place, going to try and hold it around the outside of Felipe Nasr, going into the really high downforce section of this track. And yeah, there you go, easy as you like. Got past Felipe Nasr. Now, all we got to do now is clear Ericsson and the Manor ahead, which I believe is Rio Haryanto. They've now actually swapped positions, but all we've got to do is clear those guys, and then we're on a one-way ticket to Nico Rosberg, who is, well, he's cleared this train, obviously, because we saw him. He was ahead of most of this train in the first place. Yeah, there you go. So Nico Rosberg is in 8th, we're in 9th. So, to all intents and purposes, we're in a net 2nd place right now. So, much like Australia, although Australia was a very different story, but we're going to gain tons of places, being, you know, in terms of raw pace, we haven't been that quick, as shown as Sebastian Vettel was going to get back past us, but in Australia we didn't have too great of a race, but we came out alright just because of the back markers holding up the top teams, and it's going to be the same story here. So yeah, we're in a net 3rd, which is actually 10th. Vettel is in 9th, Magnussen 8th. Rosberg has cleared Magnussen, but I don't think he's too far ahead. We're going to go down the inside of Vettel and Magnussen. And yep, Rosberg's just up there. I mean, this is the guy who was going to comfortably win this race, and now he's just ahead of us. We've now got DRS on him. I mean, we do not have the pace to be genuinely beating Rosberg, but as it turns out, going down the DRS straight, we're going to outbrake Rosberg, Palmer, and Hulkenberg. How on earth has that happened? Well, either way, we're in 5th place, which is a net lead, essentially. I mean, ahead of us, we got both Haas, Perez, and Sainz, I believe, are ahead of us. I don't really know at this point, because kind of the field, we got the back, you know, the people who qualified below the top 10 are on a different strategy to those who qualified within the top 10. Nico Rosberg got back past us, no surprise there. It was just a matter of time, really. But if in this position, if I can get 2nd or even 3rd from this race, then we have really exceeded ourselves. I mean, we qualified 6th. No, we qualified 7th. Probably can't expect to finish much higher than 5th on raw pace, but we might well get a podium. Vettel clearing Palmer now, or is he? They're side by side, actually. But we need Palmer to hold him up, but he's not going to for any longer, because, as you can see, I mean, the longer Palmer held up Vettel, the bigger breathing space it gave me. So yeah, I really needed Palmer to hold up Vettel for as long as possible, but that isn't going to be lasting much longer. The good thing is, though, is Rosberg is now being held up by Gutierrez, going into the 3rd sector, and it looks like Gutierrez is going to leave us the room. I don't see him putting up much resistance, and although to be fair he's running off the track, his tyres must be really warm by now, having done 14 laps on those medium tyres, and yep, he just lets Arsene Rosberg through. Hopefully he now can hold up Sebastian Vettel. That's what we need really, because we're in a net second. I will happily take that come the end of the race. Now that net second has turned into an actual second, as all of the people ahead of us came into pit. Sebastian Vettel is now coming in the pits, so he's going to once again try and get the undercut on us. Now, as I said, we don't really have the pace to beat Vettel. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try. So me and Rosberg, we're coming in on the same lap. Rosberg did actually pull out by a few seconds in the end, but pitting onto the hard tyres. And Sebastian Vettel, is he going to emerge ahead of us? He probably will, because he got the undercut. He will have had a couple of laps on newer, fresher hard tyres, and we're not seeing him though. Oh no, yes we are. Coming down the start-finish straight, the right-hand side, he is now ahead of us, and yes, we are in essentially a net third place. I don't see us catching up to Vettel, but of course he will have more worn tyres come the end of the race, so that will be our saving grace. We're in 6th place right now. Perez ahead of us because Vettel had cleared Perez, but now the safety car is out. So this could change the race in quite a few big ways. We're sandwiched by both Mexicans at this point. Here's what brought out the safety car. So Kvyat, who got involved in that crash earlier, and his day goes from bad to worse as his tyre punctures, and coming up behind him is a certain Mr. Fernando Alonso, and both cars not really being very spatially aware and just crash into each other. And that was it. No one retired, but I think it was just the sheer debris on the track from Alonso's front wing. So, as you can see, a safety car is coming out, as Kimi Raikkonen can see, and Kimi Raikkonen has rear-ended the safety car. What a stupid thing to do. He hasn't retired. I know the replay camera will make it look like he has, but I mean, what was he thinking? There's no way his F1 car is going to be stronger than a Mercedes road car. So I don't know what he was trying there, but that is good though, because Raikkonen was someone who was going to catch up to us through the safety car period, you know, once, because, you know, safety car bunching the field together, Raikkonen was going to catch up to us through that. Vettel has come into the pits, so I don't really know what his master plan is, because none of us need to stop again. So I don't quite know what he's doing. What has he pitted onto? He's pitted onto the soft tyres, which, okay, he's on the quicker tyres, but he's in 18th place. So I don't see, unless he clears cars very quickly, I don't see how this is going to work out for him. So, okay, so essentially we're in the net 2nd place right now, as the safety car comes in, and we got to try and get past Gutierrez, or Perez should I say, as quickly as possible. We got a lap Fernando Alonso getting out of the way. Gutierrez is behind us. We don't have to worry about him unless he gets slipstream on us, but no he won't, because with our mega straight line pace which this car has, we're going to get past Sergio Perez and into 4th place, essentially a net 2nd. So ahead of us is Grosjean and Sainz. It should be relatively easy to clear them. Slower cars, more worn tyres, the same compounded tyre. This should be easy going, and as you can see, diving up the inside of Romain Grosjean, and there you go, easily in the podium place. Thanks to Vettel coming into the pits under the safety car, we've got a pretty easy run now to the flag, especially as Raikkonen took himself out. We're, you know, pretty easy going, and, you know, all we got to do is clear Carlos Sainz, which we should do quite easily. As I said, I mean, you know, he's on more worn tyres, and it was a pretty easy move in the end, but, yeah, I mean, Sainz, he's on more worn tyres because they've only stopped once, Sainz, Grosjean. I don't know whether they're going to stop again, but if they don't, they're on extremely worn tyres. Now, here's the thing, Lewis Hamilton was away behind us, but then the safety car came out and bunched the field together, and sure, Raikkonen wiped himself out, but Hamilton didn't. So because of the safety car coming out, we've now seriously got to contend with Lewis Hamilton, who is now right up behind us, having cleared Carlos Sainz. So, yeah, Vettel's essentially out of it, so is Raikkonen. We don't have to worry about them, but we do have to worry about both Mercedes. Well, Rosberg is long gone, Hamilton is now right up behind us, and we're both using the same power unit, but he's got slipstream and DRS, and there you go. So Lewis Hamilton up into second place, and unless we get past him under braking or into the next couple of corners, which we don't, yeah, we're not going to get back that second place realistically. But Nico Rosberg, he's had a pretty easy time of it, coming in later than everyone else. Certainly paid dividends for him, as he's going to come round the last corner to win the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix considerably ahead of his teammate. So there you go, Nico Rosberg finishing in first place. We put up a good fight to Hamilton. I think Hamilton only passed us with a couple of laps left to go, but Hamilton will cross the line in second place, and I will come home in third place, really outperforming my car there. So really well done. We're in second apparently. Okay, I don't know what that's all about, because Rosberg won, we saw him win. So, I mean, Total celebrating. It looks like they've got a 1-2. Nico Rosberg is the confirmed race winner. So, what's happened here? I mean, we finished in third. Hamilton was second. So, what's going on here? We'll have a look at the podium. So, coming out on the podium is Rosberg, ourselves, and Carlos Sainz. I don't know what happened to Hamilton there, but one thing I didn't give Sainz credit for, and the same can be said for Grosjean, Perez, and them lot as well, is once the safety car came out, they were able to do a one-stop strategy, and my word, did that one-stop strategy mixed with the safety car really pay dividends for them. As look, Carlos Sainz, who was the main benefactor in that, has finished third at his home Grand Prix. Look at Carlos Sainz. That's amazing stuff for him. But the unanswered question is, what happened to Hamilton? He's done in fourth, having got a 5-second time penalty. No idea what for. My engineer never told me Hamilton had a time penalty. But, I mean, look, below that, Magnussen, Gutierrez, Perez, they all finished high up in the points just because of, A, the safety car, doing the one-stop strategy, and also helped by the fact that Raikkonen and Vettel both did silly things. But look, Hamilton, he got a stop-go and a warning. That's all Hamilton ever got. So unless he never served the stop-go, so then it turned into a 5-second time penalty, unless that is it, I don't understand how he got a 5-second time penalty. But regardless, Hamilton's still leading the Drivers' Championship, but obviously his teammate has now closed up on him. We're now in third, having overtaken Ricciardo, and in the constructors' standing, still fourth. McLaren have actually fallen behind Haas, believe it or not. But that's because Grosjean finished fifth this race, so there you go. McLaren Honda down in seventh, but they will definitely be gaining places with the genuine race pace that they showed this race. So anyway, yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and next time it's the Monaco Grand Prix. And of course at Monaco, there's chaos, there's action, there's controversy. You've got to check it out. So I'll see you then.